Will you mention some of the highlights of this year's festival?
Yes, of course. This year, as ever, the International Festival will bring together cultures from around the world and present an intense festival experience for 3 weeks in the city of Edinburgh this summer. We will be presenting a lot of work not otherwise seen in the UK and exposing audiences, both local and international, to new influences, new cultural influences. This year particularly, the festival is shifting its focus away from Europe to the cultures of North, Central and South America and to Australia and New Zealand. These are countries that, of course, Europe has referred to as the New World, but they are cultures which are as ancient and as traditional as anywhere else in the world. The 2010 programme will include several companies who have not been seen in the UK before, Teatro Cinema and Teatro en el Blanco from Chile, Alonzo King Lines Ballet from San Francisco, and Elevator Repair Service from New York. There are also 4 world premieres, 2 European premieres and numerous UK premieres. And our cultural connections are being strengthened with co-productions and co-commissions in collaboration with countries such as Mexico, Germany, Australia, Denmark and Spain. So we are working in various ways to take our work across the world, both immediately after the festival and throughout the year. Some of this year's most talked about shows, I think, will include Opera Australia's brand new opera Bliss, which is based on an opera by Peter Carey and music written by Brett Dean, and concerts by the Royal Concertgebouw, the Cleveland Orchestra, Minnesota Orchestra, Finnish Radio Symphony Orchestra, Sydney Symphony Orchestra, the gospel music theatre spectacle from New York, the Gospel at Colonus, in which the Blind Boys of Alabama collectively play Oedipus. National Theatre of Scotland, our own very successful national company, is presenting Caledonia, which is a story written by Alistair Beaton, which explores the Darien Venture, which is a period in Scotland's history where they tried to create a colony in Panama, which was an absolute disaster and resulted in, certainly contributed significantly to the signing of the Act of Union with England in the early 1700s. The late Pina Bausch, her company, bring Agua to us this year, which is a good example of us using European artists and companies with their perspective of the cultures that we are focusing on this year of the Americas. So Agua is Pina Bausch's exploration of Brazil, starting in the Amazon basin and going to the coast and returning back. So it's very fun piece, kissing competitions, towels on the beaches, jaguars and amazing rainforest scenery. So it's a wonderful, playful piece. And that, in our dance program, is alongside Grupo Corpo, who come from Belo Horizonte in deep heartland of Brazil, who bring their own very special mix of Brazilian dance styles, cultures, influences with very contemporary Western technique as well. So our dance program particularly actually exemplifies the theme this year rather well. And Opera de Lyon are bringing Porgy and Bess. There is a large focus on American music, Gershwin, Ives, Copeland, Lou Harrison, Steve Reich and the like, and also jazz influences. So Günther Schuller will come over and perform with the Scottish National Jazz Orchestra. We have John Etheridge, Sarah Connolly and various other artists performing in that genre as well. So it's a very diverse program as ever, through music, theatre, dance and opera this year. And we very much hope that it offers something for everyone and a very fun experience in our theatres this August.
Can you tell me, have you ever featured any Bulgarian performers or works in your festival?
I'm sure there have been many Bulgarian performers. We present thousands of artists every year, but certainly the ones that spring to mind are Boris Christoph, who was here in the 60s performing in the Barber of Seville, of course one of the great bases of the 20th century. The Central Puppet Theatre from Sofia were here as well with various pieces actually, the Misanthrope, Prince Marco and Pinocchio. And more recently, we've had Svetlana Vasileva, who performed Verdi's Giovanna d'Arco with Scottish Opera in 1998. a beautiful, beautiful soprano. So I'm sure there are more, but certainly those are some of the names and artists that come to mind. And I'm not aware of any in this year's programme, but I'm certain that Bulgarians will feature again in the future.
Edinburgh is a world-famous cultural and tourist centre. How is the festival situated in the entire cultural life of the city?
The festival is really at the heart of the cultural life here in Edinburgh. We draw on a lot of local artists and performers in presenting the festival. We like to present the very best of Scottish work alongside international artists. So we draw a lot on them. We commission and feed a lot into the community here. Edinburgh has a very rich cultural offering. We've got excellent theatres and concert halls. The Usher Hall is one of the best acoustics in Europe. We have beautiful, intimate, small music venues like the Queen's Hall. The Festival Theatre is a fabulous opera stage. And the Playhouse, one of the largest auditoriums in Europe, where we present our dance to over 3,000 people. So it has a good provision in the city. There are a lot of artists, both the national companies, either based or performing here regularly, and local independent, smaller organisations creating work in both the performing arts and the visual arts. It's a very rich tapestry. And there are some of the famous smaller bodies, like the Traverse Theatre, for example, who came out of the spirit of the festival. The festival, of course, was created in 1947 with the idea of uniting cultures and bringing something very special to the city. And it does. It transforms the city, and particularly in those days where it was a very conservative, austere place and time. And the festival did something very special. And the artists here in Edinburgh wanted to extend that feeling and that excitement and that slightly maverick spirit through the rest of the year. So places like the Traverse were born and still continue to be very successful arts companies in themselves.
Would you describe your audience, and do you have a strategy for attracting young audiences?
We have a diverse audience, and one of the very pleasing things is that people come in very mixed groups, both international and home, both young and old. So a lot of international people come and stay with local people, are based in their houses, are invited by local people to come here and enjoy the festival with them. They also like to bring their grandparents or indeed their grandchildren, depending on who they are. So we have a very mixed audience, a very loyal audience, a lot of people that return year after year and go to see a lot of performances. And key to that is our ticket price. So we are very committed to ensuring that people can experience the festival rather than just a performance or a couple of performances. So we want them to go to as much as possible, to see the different cultures, to see the different art forms, to cross over, and we do a lot to encourage that. And one of those is to start ticket prices at just £8 for our main performances. And even with that, there's discounts of up to 50% for students, for young people, and for senior citizens and the like. So we very much try to make it affordable, and so people cross over. We have about 20% of our audience are aged 15 to 34, so we have a good, strong showing of young people coming already. We saw that increase by 7% last year with student take-up, up 7%. We are working always to try and develop this, and this year we have for the first time a scheme like our Friends scheme, but very much targeted at 20, 30-year-olds in the city, professionals who have an interest in the arts but perhaps haven't engaged with the festival yet. And with that, one of the things we've identified is that these people really want to engage with more than just the performance on stage. So we're looking at opportunities for them to meet artists, to attend dress rehearsals, to get more of an insight and more of a hands-on feel for the festival. So we hope that'll be a success, but as I say, we've just launched the festival and it is early days, so we hope that'll capture their imagination though. And of course in promoting that and in promoting the festival's work and its ticket offers, we do a lot with social networking sites, with all the e-communications, which of course are crucial in reaching those younger audiences today.